What do you get when you mix conmen, courtroom drama, a parrot with a foul mouth, and a stolen boat chase involving a judge? You get Law and Disorder, a classic 1958 British comedy that's equal parts charming, clever, and chaotically British.
Take cover, you lot! There! There! Over there!
This isn't your average crime caper. No explosions, no high-speed car chases. Just Michael Redgrave with a twinkle in his eye, a pocket full of scams, and a very noble reason for all his mischief.
Father! Colin! Let's have a look at you. Oh, you're grown up. You're a man.
In a film full of disguises, courtroom shenanigans, and good old-fashioned British wit,
Bring in the emeralds. Oh, no, you don't. You keep your emeralds to yourself.
Law and Disorder walks the tightrope between heartfelt family drama and farcical criminal misadventure.
Colin, there seem to be an awful lot of new barristers. I do hope there'll be enough crime to go round.
Let's dive into this underrated gem. Law and Disorder opens with the sort of twist that would make any screenwriter grin. Percy Brand, played with impeccable comedic timing by Michael Redgrave, is a career criminal with one soft spot.
Let me have a look at you. Oh, my word, a full-blown barrister. Oh, what about you, a full-blown bishop?
His son, Colin. Percy's been in and out of prison more times than we can count, but he's managed to keep his son blissfully unaware.
Didn't know you'll be released so soon.
Liberated, darling.
Every time he goes to jail, he spins a new yarn. He was a missionary in China, a chaplain in North Africa, a prisoner of war. The lies are as elaborate as his crimes.
I told him we were coming home from the Far East with some prisoners of war, and he's gone down to the docks to meet the boat.
Good heavens.
And all to protect Colin's idealistic view of his father.
He doesn't know. You haven't told him.
Percy, but of course not.
Colin, played by Jeremy Burnham, grows up to become a barrister, unpaid at first, like many in the legal world.
Generally wet nurse him on his assize circuit. Doesn't pay anything, but it'll be good experience.
And, in a delicious stroke of irony, he becomes the aide to Judge Sir Edward Crichton,
This is the reserved compartment.
Reserved? What for?
the very man who's been sentencing Percy all these years.
This is a judge, madam.
So what?
You might come up before him in court, you see, and if you'd already met him socially, he wouldn't be able to try you.
The judge, played with blustery brilliance by Robert Morley, is the perfect foil. Stern, traditional, and entirely unaware of the web he's walking into.
Aim dismissed. I make no order as to costs.
Now here's where things really pick up. Percy, recently released from prison, decides to retire from crime altogether. But retirement in the English countryside isn't exactly relaxing
What did that man want? You haven't been...
No, I haven't.
when there are smuggling operations right offshore.
Used to be a properly organised chap with a motor cruiser, used to slip over to France and then nip back again with some of the right stuff.
When Percy learns about the brandy trade that used to flourish before Sergeant Bolton, played by Meredith Edwards, tightened the screws. Temptation rears its head.
That chap with the cruiser, Colonel, did he keep up his contact?
Yes, we had a letter from him yesterday.
In true Percy fashion, he jumps back into action, stuffing brandy bottles into gutted sharks and pretending to be a harmless fisherman. It's mad, it's hilarious, and it's only the beginning.
You are a reformed character. Cider. Percy, you're at it again.
Things spiral further when Lionel Jeffries enters the scene as Major Proudfoot, an old associate with a new scam. He's cooked up a story about emeralds stolen from a dead explorer in Brazil and needs Percy's help to smuggle them into the country. Never mind, the emeralds don't exist.
Can't wait to get his hands on the loot. He's talking about his emeralds, his! If I told him they didn't exist, he'd swear I was trying to double-cross him.
Percy counters with an even more elaborate ruse involving fake policemen and him posing as a customs officer.
I'm sorry to barge in on your territory, but I think I know the bird we're after. There's a woman, actually. A rather fancy taste in hats.
Naturally, the whole plan crashes into chaos when Judge Crichton appears at the docks unexpectedly. What was supposed to be a smooth con turns into a frantic escape, a stolen launch, and Percy right back in handcuffs.
Other side of the harbour! Quick! 3 of them!
But this is a farce, not a tragedy. The fun's not over yet. Percy's trial is set, and who else but Judge Crichton is assigned the case? The stage is set for one of the film's most memorable sequences.
The door of the assize court, and that's the clerk's office.
I better get going.
Fix up with counsel.
For Mrs. Cooper, we got Gina Lassalle.
A ridiculous fake court case involving a publican, his wife, and a parrot accused of slander.
Miss Lassalle, what is that bird doing in court?
A material witness, my lord. The case concerns slander.
That scene is a standout not just for its absurdity, but for the way it spotlights the supporting cast. Brenda Bruce and David Hutchison are pitch perfect as the squabbling couple.
Case being a severe trial of my patient.
When that delay tactic fails, Percy's friends step up again, this time trying to frame the judge by hiding contraband in his car. Their plan? Get the judge caught red-handed and thrown off the case.
Fool the sheriff has about as much sense of direction as a drunken goat. And that goes for you too. Where the hell are we?
It almost works. But Judge Crichton and Colin, deciding to walk instead of drive, end up triggering a burglar alarm and being hauled into the police station at gunpoint by a suspicious homeowner.
I am Mr. Justice Crichton.
Just another night out in the English countryside.
Well done, Sarge. Did you phone Crickford? Oh, wakey, mate. Here's your breakfast.
In the film's final act, Percy, out of options and time, confesses everything to the judge in a prison van.
Haven't seen much of my boy while he was growing up, but, well, it's all turned out all right for him in the end.
But instead of ruining everything, it humanises Percy.
Proudest day of my life when he was called to the bar.
Your son was called to the bar?
He's your lordship's marshal.
Judge Crichton, who has grown increasingly fond of both father and son, chooses not to reveal Colin's connection in court.
Marshal, I shall be leaving by the midday train. Make the necessary arrangements and meet me at the platform.
He recuses himself quietly, preserving Percy's secret and leaving Colin blissfully unaware of just how criminally clever his father truly is.
Not, of course, be proper for one of Her Majesty's judges to try a prisoner whom he's had the pleasure of meeting socially.
Now let's take a moment to appreciate the cast. Michael Redgrave's performance is the soul of the film. His Percy is sly but sincere, with a knack for charm and a real love for his son.
I'm off on another trip.
I thought you retired.
Yes, I have, my boy. This is just a farewell visit.
Robert Morley's Crichton is all pomp and grumble, a man who slowly unbuttons his formality as the story unfolds.
I have a certain sympathy for you, Mr. Brand, after what you've told me, but I'm afraid the law must be allowed to take its proper course.
Joan Hickson, better known to many as Miss Marple later in her career, is delightful as Aunt Florence, the ever-patient accomplice and keeper of Percy's secrets.
That Miss Bond is not only queen of the Women's Institute, but she's the sharpest card player I've ever met.
And Lionel Jeffries, always a scene stealer, is wonderfully ridiculous as Major Proudfoot, equal parts schemer and buffoon.
Real, make it look real. Real.
The film was directed by Charles Crichton, not to be confused with Judge Crichton,
Colin, what's his name?
Judge Crichton.
though that coincidence is a fun one. Charles Crichton had a gift for comedic pacing, honed during his years at Ealing Studios. You might recognise his name from later directing A Fish Called Wanda in 1988.
Go. Ah!
Smart bird.
You're in the wrong business, that's all.
His touch here is light but confident. He lets the absurdity breathe,
By training his bird repeatedly to utter Mary's a soak.
never rushing the gags or overplaying the pathos.
Has had its disadvantages. I haven't seen much of my boy while he was growing up. It all turned out all right for him in the end.
Interiors were filmed at Elstree Studios.
It's a proper music hall act. Daft place about a parrot.
Various outdoor locations were used, including the exterior of Wandsworth Prison and Windsor and Eton Railway Station.
Oh, Bonzo, she's just going.
Well, she can't. Not without the judge.
Fishguard Harbour in West Wales was used as the location of Creekford Harbour, with plenty of wide shots of boats, water, and the kind of quaint coastal town that seems tailor-made for comic capers.
Good night, Sergeant. Good night, Sergeant.
All right, Mrs. Cooper.
All right, Sergeant.
As for its box office performance, Law and Disorder wasn't a blockbuster, but it did respectable business, especially in the UK, where audiences had a strong appetite for these wry, post-war comedies.
Take off those stripes before I come round and rip them off. Can't you recognize a judge when you see one?
Critics praised the performances, especially Redgrave's ability to make a charming rogue not only believable, but genuinely sympathetic.
What name is it, please? That's just it, Captain. Loss of memory.
Over the years, the film's legacy has grown quietly, appreciated by fans of classic British cinema and collectors of mid-century comedies.
I'm afraid my episcopal blessing wouldn't be much use to you, but
It's not as widely known today, but for those who discover it, Law and Disorder feels like stumbling onto a vintage gem, clever, warm, and just mischievous enough. At its heart, this isn't a film about crime. It's about the lies we tell to protect the people we love, the chaos of good intentions, and the joy of seeing a plan almost come together. So if you're in the mood for sharp wit, crooked schemes, and a father who'll do anything to keep his son's respect, even if it means stealing a boat and impersonating customs agents, Law and Disorder might just be the overlooked classic you've been searching for. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this trip back to 1958, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let us know in the comments. What's your favourite lesser-known British comedy? Until next time, keep your stories straight and your brandy out of the sharks.
Gotcha! Mr. Brand. I beg your pardon, sir. I didn't recognize you.